morning, I'm Shawn Yao and this is One News Now. One of the 15 people in Hong Kong who have contracted the new COVID-19 variant supposedly came from the Philippines. The Hong Kong national identified as patient 9003 reportedly arrived from Manila aboard flight PR300 last December 22. The patient tested positive for the coronavirus on Monday, January 4, almost 2 weeks after arriving in Hong Kong. Because of the spike in the new variant or cases with the new variant, Hong Kong is now implementing a 21-day quarantine for all incoming travelers. The Philippine Health Department said it is already coordinating with Hong Kong authorities to request further details. The DOH will also be retrieving the flight manifest to get a complete picture of the issue. Moving on to another strain of the coronavirus, the World Health Organization says that there is no sign that the new COVID-19 variant in South Africa is more contagious than the UK strain. In line with this, experts say the South African variant is also unlikely to fully negate the effectivity of existing vaccines. This comes after researchers identified more than 20 mutations of the South African variant. One of these mutations neutralizes human antibodies, which is not found in the British strain.
We've been a bit cautious about kind of flagging the concern about the vaccines is that for many of the vaccines, they are thought to induce quite a broad immune response. So they produce antibodies that will target different parts of the spike protein, not just necessarily one part of the protein. And that's why we think that although these mutations may have some effect, they're very unlikely to completely negate the effect of the vaccines and the different vaccines.
NCRPO Chief Vicente Danao says the case of Christine Dacera's death cannot yet be considered as solved. This comes after the PNP announced on Monday that they have already solved the alleged rape slay case, even as most of the suspects remain at large. Danao says such pronouncement is premature since investigators have yet to prove that it was even a rape slay case. Danao criticized Makati police investigators, saying they did a sloppy job in the rushing of the filing of homicide and rape charges prior to the release of an autopsy report.
Kung sinabi mo nga na-solve, dapat may klaro na kung sino yung na-rape, sino ba talaga yung nang-rape, kung meron bang rape, o ano ba talaga ang cause ng pagkamatay. It could be baka naman too much intoxication sa alak. Okay, so dapat yung mga yun ay maklear muna natin.
But PNP spokesperson Ildebrandi Usana insists that Dacera's case has already been solved. In an interview with 1PH's Sa Totoo Lang, Usana explained that the parameters used in declaring a case as solved is laid out in a NAPOLCOM memorandum. Under this memo, a case could be considered solved if the suspects have been identified, put under police custody, and charged before the prosecutor's office on the basis of sufficient evidence against them. However, Usana did clarify that declaring a case solved is not the same as calling it case closed.
The fact that they already have been identified, that means solved na po rin yung kaso. Of course, hindi naman po may consider pa to as closed kasi yung proseso po ng justice system ang siyang magiging basis kung ang isang kaso is considered closed, having already been addressed sa court level na po.
We're going to pause for a quick break, but we will be back with more stories after that. Keep it here on One News. are still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. PNP Chief W.H.O Sinas ordered a manhunt for other suspects in the Dacera case who remain at large. Police spokesperson Ildebrandi Usana confirmed that Sinas has given a 72-hour ultimatum for the 9 other suspects to come out in the open before the police starts to hunt them down. Usana and Sinas are referring to the men who were found to be in Dacera's company around the time of her death. Sinas issued the ultimatum and the manhunt order even without an arrest warrant on these individuals. Under Philippine law, warrantless arrest can be only valid in 3 instances, such as when the person to be arrested is caught red-handed committing an offense or has escaped prison. The remaining suspects in the Dacera case do not fall into any of these categories.
Actually, nagbigay na rin ng warning ang ating Chief PNP that they need to really come out in the open so that they could readily defend themselves because they've already been identified po doon sa mga kasamahan na pumasok doon po sa room. Based on the instructions coming from the Chief PNP to the Chief of Police, they need to be hunted down. Well, of course, within 72 hours, they will have to surrender. Kung hindi man po mangyari yun, yung force ng ating kapulisan sa Makati to hunt them down.
NCRPO Chief Vicente Danao is also encouraging the Dacera family to get an independent autopsy as the circumstances surrounding the woman's death remain questionable. A copy of the initial forensic police report started circulating around social media yesterday. It showed no signs that Christine had sexual intercourse within 24 hours of her death and that she could have died of natural causes. This is incongruent with the PNP's pronouncement of a rape-slay case. But the Dacera family is not convinced of the credibility of this autopsy report. Through their lawyer, the family said they believe the aneurysm may have directly caused Christine's death. But they also said it's possible that the aneurysm itself was triggered by something else, like assault prior to her death.
Actually, in-encourage po namin, ma'am, na magkaroon po ng independent autopsy para once and for all, wala pong whitewash, wala pong ano. Mas maganda nga po kung gano'n para magkaroon po ng linaw lalo yung kaso on the cause of death.
In other news, Philhealth is heeding the President's directive to defer its planned contribution hikes from members, which was supposed to take effect this month. Philhealth will continue to calculate premiums based on the current 3% contributions rate instead of the proposed 3.5%. The agency says it trusts Duterte to make good of his promise to find funds to cover the scheduled hike. The deferred contribution hike is mandated under the UHC law or Universal Healthcare Law, which seeks to raise funds for several care services. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Sean Yao, and we are One News.